And I'm trying to close him with all the crafty closes. And he's like, you know what, man, cut the crap. Your shiny marketing brochure is crap. He throws it across his office. I want to know about a time that you screwed up and what you did about it. So I eventually get to telling him the painted baby story, thinking that I'm just committing business sales suicide, right? And that he'd throw me out of his house quicker than he let me in. And he shakes my hand, signs the contract, and says, "You're the kind of guy that I want to do business with." So
look into his eyes. They're the eyes of a man obsessed by
success.
Eyes that mock our sacred institutions. Bedroom eyes, they call them in a bygone day.
Sex desire is the most powerful of human desires. When driven by this desire, men develop keenness of imagination, courage, willpower, persistence, and creative ability unknown to them at other times. So strong and impelling is the desire for sexual contact that men freely run the risk of life and reputation to indulge in. When harnessed and redirected along other lines, this motivating force maintains all of its attributes of keenness of imagination, courage, etc., which may be used as powerful creative forces in literature, art, or in any other profession or calling, including, of course, the accumulation of riches. Napoleon Hill.
Hey there, peeps. This is Michelle Nedelec, your mistress in business. You are on the little blue pill for business, where it's all about getting it up and keeping it up. And of course, we're talking about revenue and profit. We understand that it's all about the 6 inches between your ears. So I interview some of the hottest people in the industry that are blowing and going, like my friend here, Matt, so that you can get in on some action, because everybody likes a little action. So if you like a little bit of tongue in cheek and not just physically, this podcast is for you. Today, I am in bed with Matt Shoup. Thank you, Matt.
hey, thanks for having me here. How are you?
I am great. We are going to have a ton of fun. But first off, give everybody kind of the highlight of who you are and what you do for business.
Yeah, so I live here in Northern Colorado with my wife and 2 kiddos, and I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've been just in love with business since I was a 10-year-old. And from there, that went into writing business books and speaking. I love Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so I really incorporate that, a lot of the lessons from that into business and speaking and lessons that I teach. And then I'm a huge fan of Spain. I spent some time there in college, fell in love with it. So I love the coffee, I love the culture, I love the country. And that's what I get to do every day. I literally get to drink coffee with really amazing people and share stories, help make their life and their business better.
That is awesome. And I know half our listeners went Brazilian and heard waxing. So what is Brazilian
They did.
Jiu-Jitsu?
It is not that kind of Brazilian, but it is still you're rolling around with dudes in pajamas sweating on each other. So it is a little when you look at it from the outside, you're like, what is that? You know, my wife says, "You're going to go do what? You're going to go roll with your buddy Troy in pajamas." It's kind of weird.
Yeah. And we're gonna feel so good about it afterwards. It's gonna be great, honey.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah, and you say it relieves stress, right? and helps cope with your day of busy business.
Exactly. There are a whole lot of innuendos going on here. So
Totally are.
So I love your lifestyle. So give me kind of a day in the life of Matt.
Yeah, I wake up usually between 4:30 and 5. That's my quiet time before the family's up at 6:30. So I hit the gym. Right now, I'm on a podcast tour. I'm getting around on the podcast app. I'm swiping a lot. Yeah, scheduling those in the morning. And then I have my morning coffee, and then I do my morning coffee video every morning. My wife helps me record that, post it. And then, I get on to my day. So it's a combination right now in the season I'm in. So I just launched a book, a lot of podcasts. A lot of meeting with other entrepreneurs here locally, and then a lot of meeting with my team. We're starting to build a lot of foundation. We're going to launch an entrepreneurial community, kind of a mastermind community. I'm going to also be launching a podcast. And yeah, then I teach jujitsu in the afternoons, go home, hang with the family, and then pretty chill on the weekends. Like I really do like my weekend time a lot.
Nice. I love that. And you're planning your trip to Spain now, right?
Yeah, September, we're going to take between 10 and 12 people over to hike part of the Camino de Santiago. And we're going to do just really focused on unplugging, disconnecting, recentering, and just revisioning on what's important in life and business. So we've got 6 or 7 of us right now that are heading over, and yeah, a few spots left. I've hiked that part of the trail twice, and it's like some of the most beautiful scenery that you'll ever see.
Nice. I love that. That is amazing. So how is your book launch going? And tell us about your book.
Yeah, book launch is going really well. It launched live January 31st, and the title of it is Painted Baby: Connect with Clients Through Brave and Vulnerable Storytelling. So the premise of the book is that we're conditioned as people and also business leaders to always step forward with perfection. We're always painting this picture of the A+ 5-star shiny marketing brochure, and it's just not true. Like, we can't attain that level of service of person. Like, we're humans, we make mistakes. And I learned that lesson in a really big way after our painting company. We had a paint sprayer blow up on a job site, and we painted a customer's baby. Like, the mom was standing there with a 9-month-old baby behind my painter. He's getting ready to spray a door, and the paint sprayer it's a one in a million thing, and just covers the painter, the mom, everything in a 40-foot radius. And like, that's a bad day at the office, right? I don't know in whatever your listener's business is, like, think of one of the worst things that can happen. So that happens, right? Now we have to show what we're made of and go, make up for it. So we make everything right. But I'm like, you know what? We're taking this story, we're parking it in the way back of the closet, like behind the skeletons in the closet, right? Business, personally, we're not sharing it. That's not what you do. 3 years later, I'm sitting at my biggest sales appointment ever, and the guy across the table from me, we've worked together before. Contract is like 15 to 20 times the size of the normal business we do, so it's a big deal. And I'm trying to close him with all the crafty closes, and he's like, you know what, man, cut the crap. Your shiny marketing brochure is crap. He throws it across his office. I want to know about a time that you screwed up and what you did about it. So I eventually get to telling him the painted baby story, thinking that I'm just committing business sales suicide, right? And that he'd throw me out of his house quicker than he let me in. And he shakes my hand, signs the contract, and says, you're the kind of guy that I want to do business with. So that led me on this journey of, like, wait a minute, we're conditioned to sell this way, communicate this way, build relationships this way. What just happened here? And then we started duplicating and replicating, sharing this story, and it like raised our bottom line, our close rate, 10 to 15%.
Wow, that is awesome. So a few things I'm hearing in there. 1, 3 years waiting. Because oftentimes telling people about your trauma in the trauma does more harm than good.
Yeah, you want to be careful about that. You need to be far enough away, removed, to be a little emotionally disconnected from it and have learned the lessons from it.
Nice. And I assume that took more than kind of the half hour it took to start cleaning up that mess. I can't imagine how long it took to clean up.
Oh, half hour. I mean, I roll up Michelle to the job site, and one of the paint crew, Bloss, right there, pair of brothers, he's standing at the truck covered in paint, drop sheets, paint trail going up the driveway. It's black semi-gloss paint. I roll up the driveway through the gate, Raoul's down, hands and knees. It's like, when you have such a mess, you just don't know where to start cleaning it up. It's that kind of disaster. And he's scrubbing. I mean, there's paint everywhere. So it was 3-4 days of all of us back there replacing flagstone, cleaning, scrubbing, power washing. It was crazy. But like, first thing is like, baby, right? Like, don't forget about the baby. This little baby got painted, and she was okay. And we continue to make sure that she was okay.
Nice.
So yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. I can just imagine, trying to take paint remover to flagstone and then dissolving the flagstone, just causing more problems than you
we
started.
Got to a point where it's like, yeah, we're just going to buy new flagstone. It was a couple $1,000s worth of materials around the home. And then I think Mama was wearing $437 worth of clothes at noon on a Tuesday. So I don't know if that's a lot, but
T-shirt and
I don't.
And
it was just, she was
Lululemons,
very
and
dressed,
you're pretty
very
much
dressed
there.
up, Yeah. So I have like $4 worth of clothes on when I'm running paint crews and stuff.
Oh, that hurts. Oh, that hurts.
Yeah. But the point of that, right, is like
let's transition this, because there's tons of people that, the shit hits the fan, like, and proverbially or literally in this case, like, how do you turn that into a positive thing in front of a customer, especially when most customers just want to hear the glossy version? I just want to hear that you're going to do my job perfectly. I don't want to hear how bad this is going to screw up, because then I'm thinking about should we be moving this furniture out of the room.
Yeah, and it's funny because it's the thing, like, so I have this wake up experience. Whoa, I just landed the biggest job of my career. I shared Painted Baby story. 1 + 1 is 2. So I go out the next week and I have 8, 9 appointments. And that's all I wanted to do was share Painted Baby. None of them closed, none of them
Wow.
moved forward. So there's a time and a place and a point in the sales process of you're still, meeting, connecting, building rapport, seeing if you're a good fit, if you guys should, be talking about doing business together. So it's the discovery process. And then you get into like, hey, here is the shiny marketing brochure. Here's why we're great. We've done hundreds or thousands of jobs, worked with these clients. We've done great work, but that's where most companies stop, right? They do feature, benefit, tie back to the need, pre-close, close, and then everything's good. But what you've just done when you do that, and you'll close business that way. Like business wasn't bad before we told Paint Baby. Paint Baby just made it better. But you set this expectation of perfection, and there's going to be a time when you don't meet it. So right before you close, right before you ask for the business, the way I share Painted Baby, I say, hey, I want to ask you for your business, but I know I've done a really good job, I hope, lining out why we're a great company, but can I just share about a time that we screwed up? And people, they kind of look confused and then they lean in. And that's the cue. And you say, hey, we painted a baby once. Can I tell you about that? So you have to have a great hook. And they, oh, nobody's ever said no. Nobody says, no, I don't want to
Right.
hear that. Let me just give you my money and let's paint the house. So you then share the story. And there is a process in having a hook, a storyline, somebody that experiences this moment of stress or peril, and they have to make a decision and then show up to show that customer what they're made of. But the story has to be based on, how can I show that customer that they can trust me when shit hits the fan? Because you're right. You love reality TV, so do I. Like, I love watching your train wreck. You love watching mine, but you don't want to be in front of the train. So, like, we're
Right.
attracted and drawn to that as humans. They just want to know, hey, what's going to happen if this was me? And then it creates this. It lowers the bar because you're saying, hey, like, we're talking about here, but here's where it's been. So if you fall into that space where you're missing that mark, it gives some space and grace from the customer in that relationship to know that you're going to make it right. So, but yeah, don't go out and only show that, but just think about the story that your competition could get a hold of that could sink you. If you tell it first, you control the narrative, and then you kind of leave them speechless in a way. So it's been very powerful in the business, but it's a fun story. Within the book, I really created this framework of how you go through the process. I call it capture, craft, and communicate, the 3 C's of storytelling. So
Nice. So when you're going through the book and telling, kind of working, are you working with people? Is it kind of like workbook-ish in that somebody that's reading it can go through and go, okay, don't have any babies, but we have enough stuff that you don't want your competition telling the story first. And if that's
yeah,
kind of the premise of it, you can start with where you feel safest in that, and then kind of
yeah,
move your way forward.
yeah. I as an author and then a reader of books, I don't want to say I don't like or hate, it's a strong word, but it's really frustrating to read these very inspirational rah books where
Mm.
there's no practicality, there's no logistical frameworks or steps. So what this book is I share my Painted Baby story and I set it up, but then I'm sharing all of these other stories of other entrepreneurs, leaders. I mean, I've got a pastor. He was a 4-time felon. Now he's a full-time pastor. All of these people that just went through really crazy experiences and stories, but then those all make a point of, listen, there is a framework to telling a story. There's doubts you're going to have as an entrepreneur. Like, why the hell would I do this? Like, I'm running a multi-million-dollar company. It's profitable. You're telling me that I want to rock that boat and go share in perfection. And I'm saying, yes, you do. And here's the value of it. So I take readers through 2 sets of 3 different C's. The first one are the 3 C's of changing your story. So it's getting called out and considering where you want to continue telling your story in the future and how, and then committing to change. And that's what happened in that engagement with my customer, Bill. He called bullshit on me. And then I said, hey, if I keep doing business this way, where's this going to take me? And then I said, let's do it a different way. And then the next 3 C's, it's that capture, craft, communicate. I literally take you through the recipe per se of building a great story. And it doesn't have to be a business story. It could be a personal story, as long as it ties into showing your customer that they can trust you at the end of the day.
Nice. So in somebody's experiences, what if their client didn't give them the opportunity to make it right? Because your client obviously gave you the
Yeah.
opportunity to make it right, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Some of them just don't have that wherewithal.
N-
Is there a way
No,
to turn that
well,
around?
yeah, yeah. So like if you set the expectation of, hey, we're A+ 5 star, shiny marketing, everything's gonna be awesome, and then you paint their baby, they're gonna say, get the F out. Like you said this, you gave me this, there's no room. And that to me, I think it depends on that customer's ability to give some forgiveness, grace, space. But when you lower the bar in a way, you underpromise in a way, it gives you that. But the first thing you have to do is, hey, we screwed this up. We painted the wrong house once. This is almost as good as Painted Baby. I literally sent my paint crew out to a house, and it's the right color. It's the wrong house. They prepped it, scraped it, caulked it, masked it. They trimmed Mrs. Jones's bushes, and they're sitting there on the front, front porch saying, "Where's the paint?" "Well, it's on the front porch, dude." "No, it's not on the front porch. It's next to the flower pot." "There's no flower pot." "Oh shit, wrong house." So the point with that is, hey, Mr. Homeowner, I sat in his driveway right in front of his house until he pulls home about 5 o'clock. Like imagine you pull home and you're like, honey, did you sign a paint contract? And no.
Over
And he got
painting the
out.
house?
He was pissed. He was so pissed. And I said, listen,
Aw.
we really screwed up. There is a 2712 on the drive and the court of the same street in this neighborhood, and we were supposed to be over there. I'm gonna paint your house for free. You pick the color. I'll do an extra coat, full warranty. Like you don't have to pay for it. I am so sorry. And he was pissed, but he gave me that chance. If he
Right.
didn't give me the chance, it's like, well, I'm not willing to do this. And if you don't allow me to do it, there's nothing you can do. There'll be people like that. They're not going to forgive you. They're not going to understand the humanness of the situation, and that's really on them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I can't imagine coming home and having somebody magically paint my house. I'm like, sweet. Want to do
You
the
know what he
roof
said to
too?
me? Well, it's very fitting for this podcast, especially like my kids cannot listen to the Little Blue Pill podcast. But
No.
we at the time had been really marketing, so we were doing door hangers and sign spinners and crazy stuff. It was like that guerrilla marketing. And he steps out and he's like, "Oh, M&E painting, huh?" He goes, "I knew you guys were effing marketing whores, but is this one of the ways that you get business? You just randomly go up and start painting people's houses?" And I'm like, internally I'm thinking, well, I'll try anything once. Like I want to see the return
If
on
it
investment
works.
on this. I didn't do it on purpose. And but we ended up, so like
But
we
if it
ended up,
works.
when shit hits the fan though, people are going to respond at high emotional intense levels. Painted
Yeah.
Baby, fear,
Yeah.
chaos, right? This guy, anger, frustration. And you have to understand, certain people are going to go to certain things. Angry people get angry, scared people get scared, uncertain people get uncertain, and you have to know how to deal with that. But you have to kind of let that subside just a little bit and then be I call it a step down transformer. I was freaking out inside, but I was like, okay, Mrs. Angelo, how's your daughter? Okay. And I'm like, oh my God, we almost killed a bit. So you have to just turn that volume down on
Yeah.
that engagement, especially emotionally.
Well, but you also brought up some fantastic points when it comes to sales and understanding how people react and how to deal with that reaction. Because so many
Yeah.
people go into business and they don't understand the psychology of sales. And understandably, because that's not what they went into business for. But once you've been around, the block a while, it is a very valuable piece of information to go and look into, because if you can understand that someone's in fear and that you deal with them in fear and differently than you deal with somebody who's
Yeah.
scared, sounds the same, not the same. And certainly anger is not. And certainly with me, it would be optimism. It's like, hey, honey, we got a half price off the paint.
we,
Sweet.
we get to pick some
And it's
new
already
paint colors today, honey. Well, and I, one of the things that I've learned too, especially because I was not always this way, and this is where the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has really helped me, is, the person that controls their emotions in an
Yeah.
engagement, conversation, a stressful situation, a fight, whatever that is, they ultimately control that scenario most of the time. So being in that space to where, you're under a lot of pressure, somebody's trying to strangle you, and you're just relaxing, you're breathing, you're waiting for them to make a move, and they're freaking out. You can take advantage of that. Not that you're in business to take advantage, but when somebody just loses their shit emotionally,
Yeah. You got to be able
it's
to
hard to.
wait for the opportunity to be able to go in.
Yeah,
Because if you go in
yeah,
too fast, going, hey, we're sorry, that just
Mhm.
elevates some people,
Mhm.
and you don't want to be doing that. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
we had a deal once where our paint crew, they screwed up the job. It was a bad job. They made a mess, and the guy just he was real calm, but he was one of those like calm like a bomb kind of guys. And
yeah.
he goes, Matt, he goes, I don't want to effing talk to you right now. I just need 24 hours to take this all in. And I was start, well, let's handle this. I want to get to. He's like, no. He's like, listen, I'm going to say this
Trust
one
me.
more time, and then
Give me
that that
24
that made
hours.
sense to me. So I said, sir, you got it. I'll call you in 24 hours exactly, not a minute later, not a minute earlier. And he needed that
Yeah.
space. So, yeah.
Well, and it's good that somebody has wherewithal to be able to tell you that, because some people
Mhm.
don't. And it's like, I will
Yeah.
lose
They
my
just,
mind. And it's
yeah.
happening.
No, and I think we all have those. I think we all have those moments as entrepreneurs and leaders where we just lose our cool. We look back on that engagement. I've been there, in the 20, 25 years of business, and you just get better at it. Just get better at it every day. So yeah, no, Painted Baby's been a really fun story to tell. The readers of the book have really loved the book, and I'm excited just to keep sharing it. And my daughter's on the cover.
I'm fine.
So, anybody that buys a book, she makes like a quarter or something like that. She shook me down. She was at the book signing books. She's literally sitting next to me. She's all outgoing and sassy. And she's like, you want me to sign the book? I'm Painted Baby. And the line literally goes like over to her. Stole the show.
I like her already.
Yeah, we'll have to get her on. She'll be on a podcast soon, I'm sure.
All right.
Not this one though. Not this one.
No, probably not. Not yet. We have others. It's all good. Happy to offend
That's
you
right.
would work for.
Right.
Yeah, I know you're my dad, but I'm better.
She's a savage, man. It's awesome.
Oh, it's fun. I love that. And so when you're working with people now, what's your kind of favorite way to bring them in, and how do you work with people?
With mattshoup.com. So everybody that finds me, however they find me, I've got a set of free tools on my website. So they end up subscribing to those. I do my morning coffee videos, weekly blogs, and then I just end up connecting with people. They buy my book. I was doing one-on-one coaching for a while, but I feel like we as a team can provide more value to people with the community.
Yeah,
So everything just starts by coming to the site, getting to know me a little bit, and
nice. So you got
hearing my
group
story.
coaching programs, or like
We,
what are you offering
we're
right now?
building. We don't have anything that's officially being offered right now.
Okay.
I've always loved group coaching, mastermind, forum types of scenarios. I was in entrepreneurs organization for a number of years,
Nice.
so I just love that power in the group and the perspective and the experience shares. So we're looking just to create a network of entrepreneurs where we do monthly group coaching calls, bring in speakers, throw an annual summit or event where everybody comes here to Northern Colorado, and just gives people resources and tools to empower them and educate them and just inspire them to grow their business. Because it's lonely. Like, we're sitting here having fun on a podcast, but you and I both might turn around at the end of this if we're not going on or hosting any more podcasts. And it's just lonely. You got a lot of stuff to do. Some people don't understand what we're going through. And then, I come home, my wife is super supportive, but she's not in the trenches of business every day. So just certain things that only other entrepreneurs can understand.
Absolutely. And there's so many things, so many opportunities when people don't, like if they don't have a supportive wife, or a partner, or the partner just doesn't understand business. It's like, well, I operate this way. Like, why would you even do that? Why would you even like,
Yeah.
why even worried
Yeah.
about that stuff? I don't get it. And it can be very difficult for people that aren't in that and don't understand that. So I appreciate you saying that. I also want to talk to you about, some people get to the business where they're like, hey, I just want to make X amount of dollars, or I just want to have X amount of trucks in my fleet, or I just want to have whatever. They get there and then they're like, okay, I'm done, right? What do you say to that?
If
Hey.
that fulfills your vision, yeah, no, I think I want to be careful about how I say this. I feel like there's three levels to business, right? So whether you get fired from a job or you're dreaming of starting a business, level one is you start it and you're working more and you're working harder to grow the business. That's level one. You grow it. You're doing the work. You're trapped in that business. It doesn't grow without you. So there's some issues there that can transpire. Some people like that. Some people, they're control freaks. They never want to let go. They don't want to work with other people. They want to be self-employed, make six figures a year, and they're happy. Awesome. Level two is you're scaling the business. So you're hiring people, giving them roles and responsibilities, and stepping out of the things that you don't like or don't want to do. And you can have some freedom there, right? You can have some time freedom. You can leverage other people and other resources. The business will run without you. It will not grow without you, though. So that's that third level. So my only encouragement is, like, if you're happy with where you're at, you have some team members, you're making some good money, and you can step away for 2 weeks and have a vacation, and you like that great lifestyle. The question is, like, what if you get hit by a bus, right? What if I go to Spain and get kidnapped and don't ever come back, or just decide to stay there, don't ever come back?
He's like fantasizing about, oh, and then this princess came and took me away.
No, it's
I
with my
had
wife and
no way
kids.
to
No,
stop
no
her.
Spanish princess. No Spanish princess. That third level, though, and I got challenged with this the other day. Like, we spent a summer in Spain, 8 weeks, and things went fine. But will the business grow without you? So that third level is building. That's when you are just relentlessly investing in people and building their skill set and giving them, so much authority, role, rope, control to run the business, to where they can make those decisions without you. So what I'd say at each one of those three levels, it's whatever makes you happy. And if you built a vision for that and you're happy with where you are, great. I'm not going to sit here and be like, you need to grow more, you need to do this more. Just understand you need to answer those questions at each level and understand where those pressure points are. And if you're okay with that, great. If you're not, and you don't know how to get there, you got to bridge the gap with those resources, and you got to learn.
Nice. Love it.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah, let's talk about it. How do people get a hold of you? So what is your website? I know, peeps, it's in the links. You can scroll down and go and find Matt's info, but give it to us again, just in case you're listening.
Yeah, it's mattshoup.com. So everything's there on the website.
Love it. Love it. Love it. So when it comes to your business, what do you find is most effective for helping you get it up and keep it up on a daily basis? Whatever that means to you.
Yeah, love it. No, staying focused and centered on passion and purpose. You can have long, hard days of business, but you've got to stay focused on, like, why am
Sometimes
I doing
those
this?
are good.
Why, right? Sometimes those are. But why do I get up every day? What is the story? What is the legacy? There's got to be a bigger picture drive, passion that will overrun those days where you're just worn out. Like, a couple days ago, came home, I just crashed like 5 o'clock, boom, just crashed on the couch. And you just got to remember why you're doing this. And I'd also say, remember that things just take more time than you think it's going to take. Every business that we've grown, it's taken a lot more time than we think on paper when we initially put it on paper.
Nice. Love that. So I get to ask you, and I'm going to ask you again. I know you mentioned that you started when you were 10, but at what point in life did you know you're special kind of crazy enough to think that you could become an entrepreneur?
Special kind of crazy enough. It was that March Tuesday morning, 2005. I got told, put all your shit in a box, from a bank president, got fired from a job. And I might have shared this on our other podcast, but yeah, I was at a job that I hated. And I had my JV experience mowing lawns as a 10-year-old, making some cash for a boom box. But I stood there at that moment, and I'm like, I'm never going to work for somebody again, never going to work for somebody like this. I am a business owner. I'm going to figure that out. And it was a have to at that point. It wasn't a, hey, I might want to, I should, might be cool. I had to make it happen. And I think I was too young, angry, and naive to know any different about the journey that I was about to go on. I just went out hard-headed, like a bull, just driving forward. So, but that was the day. I mean, that was the turning point in that journey for me.
I love it. So in your entrepreneurial journey, have there been any bloopers that you're like, oh, that was bad, but damn, that was funny?
I do, and I'd love to share this. And we kind of started talking about this when we were talking about spouses. One of the things that I've loved to learn, and I got like formally certified in this, it's leadership language, it's personality profiles. So I'm certified in inner metrics to implement and understand a DISC survey, and then the human motivators index. It's like an iceberg, right? It's the observable behavioral tendencies. So is this person assertive, angry, aggressive, or are they scared, fearful, pragmatic, right? And to the degree you can understand that, you can make adaptations. And my wife and I do something called couples night. So we'll bring couples in, we bring in some dinner, they all take the surveys, and we just talk about what it means in relationship and business. So I always open that event, though, is when I was a study abroad student back in Spain. I'm a foot taller than everybody in the country, pasty skin. Like they know I'm not from Spain. Very uncomfortable. The food was different. The time you ate it was different. Everything was different about the country, but I could always get like some comfort by knowing that there was a McDonald's in the center plaza of just about any decently major city or suburb. So they had those little 50-cent ice cream cones like back in the early 2000s. And it's a hot April afternoon. And I'm stressed. I'm like, I'm going to go get an ice cream cone. This will be perfect. So I walk in. Do you speak Spanish?
Un poquito.
Un poquito. So this might give the answer away. So I walk in, I'm 19, I'm single, and there's this very attractive 19, 20-year-old single, like Spanish girl working there. So she says, hola, and then says dime, which is just tell me. It just means give me your order. And I'm supposed to order a cone of ice cream. That's how you pragmatically or phonetically, sorry, say ice cream cone. It's cono de helado, cone of ice cream. Spanish has that little squiggly line over the N. So Espanol has a little squiggly. It makes the N a ñi, a ña.
Yeah.
So instead of ordering a cono, I ordered a coño de helado. So instead of a cone of ice cream or an ice cream cone, I walk right up to her, stare her straight in the face, and I said, hey, I want an ice cream vagina. Immediately, and I was even probably thinking going up, don't say coño, because coño in Spain they'll yell like coño. It just means like fuck. It's an expletive, so you say coño. It's like the F word, right? But the literal translation, if I ask for that, is what I asked for. So I get red. I step back. Her jaw hits the floor, and she's like, caballero. Sir, it means sir, caballero, cowboy. She goes, that's going to cost you more than 50 cents. And she knew I wasn't trying to pick up on her, or was I?
Or were you? I'm pretty sure that's
why
you're going, don't say it, don't say it,
don't say it, right? It's like what you focus on will present itself. So little neuro-linguistic psychology lesson too. So and then she says, you want it for here to go, like just didn't skip a beat. And I'm
my
just
place or yours.
Yeah, exactly, right. And I will not share what happened after that. My wife's given me full permission to tell the story to everybody. But the point of that, right, is like a little squiggly letter, like a little squiggly line just changes the sound of a word, changes the word, changes the conversation. So business relationships, when you have just a little mismatch, like you're being just a little too assertive for somebody, a little too aggressive, they're a little fearful, and you're trying to solve the problem because you're a fixer and they want the answers and the solutions and the process, and you miss that. Sometimes you land on a different planet. Sometimes it's just a squiggly letter over the end, but it definitely changes what I asked for and what
and
could have been
sometimes
served,
it's just simply
right?
Freudian and it all works out.
Or was it? The world will never
you
know.
knew that's what you're thinking about.
And it was funny because I never saw her again. I went back into the McDonald's. I'm like, hey, maybe this is the start of a friendship or something, with this gal. And I think she quit after that. Yeah.
She became a stripper. She's like, there's way more money out there.
She has this brutal core memory. She's like, I remember the day this guy ordered it. And my life was never the same.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh yeah,
But it was an embarrassing story, worst story. Grammatically as a Spanish or another language speaker, everybody has those, and
everyone
they're fun. They're fun. Hope it makes your life and business better, guys.
Right? Go do it in a foreign language for a while, and you'll get over yourself. You start laughing at it. It's like,
absolutely.
Oh, okay, I get it. It's not that big of a deal. Nice. So often we take ourselves just a little too seriously.
We do. In this podcast, right? As well, I don't know if you call it PG-13 or R-rated as it is. It's fun.
This is R-rated.
Like this one has been a lot of fun. So I really enjoy that you put it together this way. And no, I've had a lot of fun hanging with you today.
Awesome. Thank you. You have been amazing. So any last words for our peeps?
Happy birthday to you tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, enjoy the birthday.
For those of you listening, it is not tomorrow.
Yeah,
but if you want to send me gifts tomorrow, I'm totally up for that. I could not care less.
Every day's a birthday.
Exactly. Every tomorrow is my birthday, so feel free to send me gifts. The peeps, you know me too well. Awesome. So thank you again for being here. I appreciate it, and I know how valuable your time is.
Thanks. I appreciate you having me here.
Awesome. Peeps, this is Michelle Nedelec, your mistress in business. Thank you for being here with us today. Be sure to subscribe to the show in your favorite podcast app so we can help you get it up and keep it up when you need me, because we love having you here. Thank you for listening to the Little Blue Pill for Business podcast with your mistress in business, Michelle Nedelec. Why are you still here? Go to littlebluepillforbusiness.com and get your goodies. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to share it with somebody else that you know would enjoy getting it up in business. After you subscribe to the podcast, of course, so you won't miss any future episodes. Now, check the notes for links. Oh, and only tell your wife if she's into this, entrepreneurship. And I'll see you both on the other side.